Osiris is one of the Egyptian pantheon's most revered deities. He represents the essence of order, morality, and civilization. He is a god who triumphed over death and became the lord of the afterlife. Today's video takes us through the history of this famous god and his riveting story. Osiris is usually considered to be the son of Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. This bloodline positions Osiris in an extraordinarily powerful and prestigious role within the divine hierarchy. His siblings include Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. Since the dawn of time, Osiris has been associated with order, righteousness, and benevolence. The duality between Osiris and Set reflects the Egyptian belief in the need for balancing opposing forces. Osiris was viewed as a perpetuator of harmony and stability in the universe. He is often described as a righteous and wise king who ruled Egypt before becoming the god of the Underworld. The god instructed the Egyptians in agriculture, laws, and the worship of the gods, laying the groundwork for Egyptian society and culture. These principles were key to Egypt's transformation from a nomadic and chaotic civilization into an advanced and organized one. Although they were siblings, Osiris and Isis became husband and wife, a common occurrence among the gods of different mythologies, symbolizing the union of complementary forces. Their marriage was viewed as an ideal model, characterized by deep love, mutual support, and unshakable loyalty. The relationship between Osiris and Isis extends beyond its mythological narrative, assuming a deep religious and spiritual dimension. They are often seen as embodiments of marital loyalty, eternal love, and renewal. In particular, the cult of Isis emphasized these aspects, leading to her being one of the most worshipped goddesses in ancient Egypt. The story of Osiris's death and resurrection is among Egyptian mythology's most significant and powerful myths, embodying themes of treachery, revenge, love, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Set profoundly envied Osiris's position and power as the ruler of Egypt. Fueled by jealousy and ambition, Set masterminded a scheme to wipe out Osiris. He organized a feast and presented a beautiful coffin, vowing to give it to the one who would fit inside it perfectly. As Osiris, without suspecting a thing, entered the coffin, Set and his conspirators promptly closed it and dumped the sarcophagus in the Nile River. Osiris's wife and sister Isis, sorrowful and determined, undertook a long journey to find her husband's body. Her quest took her to many parts of Egypt, and eventually she found him. Upon finding out that Osiris's body had been recovered, Set flew into a rage and dismembered Osiris's corpse, strewing its parts all over Egypt. Together with her sister Nephthys, Isis began another journey, this time to collect the fragments of Osiris's body. Together with Anubis, the god of mummification, they managed to assemble and embalm the body, creating the first mummy. Using magic and spells, Isis succeeded in reviving Osiris briefly. During this brief period, Osiris and Isis conceived their son Horus. After his conception, Osiris was sent back to the Underworld, where he became king and supreme judge, playing a vital role in judging souls. Upon his resurrection, Osiris symbolized hope for the afterlife, promising eternal renewal and revival for those deemed worthy. Isis not only had a vital role in resurrecting Osiris, but also in protecting her son Horus, secretly raising him to shield him from Set's wrath. She is often depicted as the ideal mother and protector, a role model for Egyptian queens and mothers. As Duat's ruler, Osiris oversaw keeping order and harmony in the underworld. He was seen as a benevolent king who provided protection for righteous souls and ensured that they enjoyed the pleasures of the Aru, otherwise known as the reed field. Under his rule, the underworld mirrored the living world, with fields to cultivate and rivers to navigate. However, before reaching this gift, the individual's soul was tried in the Hall of Ma'at. Osiris chaired the trial, supported by 42 divine judges who represented the 42 nomos, or districts of Egypt. The departed soul had to declare their innocence from a series of sins and have their heart weighed on the scales of Ma'at against the penalty of truth and justice. If the heart were light, the soul would be deemed righteous and worthy of entering Aru, the Egyptian paradise. If not, the heart was tossed to Amit, a dark creature who would consume it. While mummification was a crucial feature of Egyptian funerary rituals, it was strongly influenced by the Osiris myths. The mummification process was seen as an emulation of Osiris's condition, hoping that, like him, the deceased could be brought back to life and experience the afterlife again. Egyptian funerary rituals and texts, like the Book of the Dead, are littered with Osiris references. They include formulas and incantations meant to help the dead overcome obstacles and reach the presence of Osiris. Osiris as the god of the afterlife profoundly shaped not only religious practices, but also the ancient Egyptians' culture and worldview. His role as judge and guardian of the dead fundamentally molded Egyptian notions of morality, justice, and eternity. Osiris is often portrayed in artistic representations as a mummy, representing his death and resurrection, bearing the symbols of royal power, the staff and the scourge, and often with green or black skin, symbolizing fertility and regeneration. Osiris's death and resurrection are inextricably tied to Egypt's agricultural cycle, especially the Nile's annual floods, bringing fertility and life to the land. This death and renewal cycle in nature bolstered the belief in Osiris's regenerative capacity. Osiris worship had its roots in Egypt's pre-dynastic era, becoming increasingly prominent in the ancient empire and retaining its importance until the Greco-Roman period. Osiris was worshipped throughout Egypt, with cult sites in places such as Abydos and Busiris, where grand temples were built in his honor. Osiris cult entailed a number of rituals and practices. The ceremonies included offerings, prayers, and songs to honor him, looking for his blessings and protection in the afterlife. The Khoik festival was among the most important religious celebrations dedicated to Osiris. Staged annually in Abydos, this feast praised Osiris's death and resurrection. Dramatic processions and rituals during the festival reenacted Isis's search for Osiris's body, her mourning, and the god's ultimate resurrection. These celebrations were not only acts of worship, but also an expression of the belief in eternal life and cyclical renewal. The relationship between Osiris and the ancient Egyptian monarchy was key to the Egyptian understanding of government and royalty. Osiris was viewed as the prototype of the ideal pharaoh. This association between the god and kingship led the pharaohs to strive for the qualities of Osiris, including wisdom, fairness, and the ability to maintain order and harmony. Association with Osiris was essential for the pharaoh's legitimacy. It was thought that, just as Osiris ruled Egypt on earth and then in the underworld, the pharaoh was his proxy on earth, ruling with divine authority. This was reinforced in coronation ceremonies and religious rituals, where the pharaoh was frequently depicted making offerings to Osiris or being blessed by him. Upon death, the pharaohs were identified directly with Osiris. This was such a strong belief that mummification rituals and funerary procedures were intended to transform the dead pharaoh into the god Osiris himself. The pharaoh's tomb was seen as his Osirion, a holy place where he was reborn as Osiris in the underworld. The magical formulas and texts carved on the sarcophagi and pyramid walls often invoked Osiris, attempting to grant the dead pharaoh the same resurrection and eternal life that Osiris had achieved. The Osiris myth also had an impact on the concept of dynastic continuity. Just as Osiris was followed by his son Horus, the pharaoh was often seen as an embodiment of Horus on earth, continuing the divine bloodline. This succession cycle from the deceased pharaoh Osiris to the reigning pharaoh Horus epitomized the continuity and stability of the Egyptian state. Osiris, from his divine roots to his crucial role as the god of the afterlife, represented different values and beliefs that were deeply rooted in Egyptian society. The god left his mark, molding ancient Egypt's spiritual, social, and political dimensions. This made him not just a mythological figure like many others, but a cornerstone that sustained and shone a light on the ancient Egyptian world.